Digital technology has changed our ways of seeing by increasing global connections for specific parts of the world, while at the same time excluding parts of the world that are not as fortunate to have these technological advances. According to Dr. Rasha Abdullah from the University of Cairo, this technology gap is referred to as the digital divide.
The digital divide basically refers to the difference mostly in user numbers between people who have access to a certain technology and people who do not have access.
Rapid increases in technology over the last decade have made it much easier for people to communicate with one another, regardless of location. It seems that people of many different cultures are instinctively drawn to these new forms of digital media.
It's interesting and it's fun and it's easy and it's effective. It's efficient. You can do with it a lot of things. It's very diverse. You can do whatever you want with it.
Effectively utilizing technology helps different cultures share ideas, values, and beliefs. However, this bulk of information also creates misconceptions and confusion, which alters our perception of people from around the world.
This map represents the internet density around the globe. It is clear from the bold outline that continents of North America and Europe encompass a large majority of the world's internet users. According to WorldInternetStats.com, 77.3% of Americans stay connected through the internet. Although this number seems to suggest a strong digital connection, it is not consistent throughout the world.
About 50% of the world internet users are focused in 6 countries. 6 countries have 50% of the internet world population. The top 20 countries have over 76% of the internet user population. So the other, however many countries you have in the world, altogether constitute 24% of internet users, versus these very few countries that have a very, very highly concentrated user population. And that's a problem, because if you don't exist online to the people who are online, you don't exist.
If Americans want to know about the world around them, they are no longer forced to travel. Instead, they can consult the internet, movies, or many other forms of information, which are just a click away. In order to get students' perspectives on the impact of technology on the American way of seeing, discussions were held over globalization and the digital divide.
As American citizens, we rely on technology to help us sculpt our view of the world. In general, students attributed their knowledge of other nations to various sources of digital media, including internet, television, and movies. These forms of digital media surround us daily and give us a glimpse into the lives of people around the globe. These resources give us a deeper insight into cultural differences in such things as customs, food, and fashion. Although technology provides us with knowledge about the world around us, it does have its limitations. It is difficult for media to accurately show the essence of an entire country because of the complexity of culture. This false representation commonly leads to misconceptions and generalizations.
So I would say I get a lot of my information from what little I see. And a lot of it's just photographs and clips of video, and I don't feel like it's really telling me anything about the people. So I generally feel really ignorant about it, because a lot of it's just some white guy reporting on a country, and they might talk to the people there.
You see different pictures of these places in textbooks and on the news, and then you judge them because of just those small images, the glimpses of those. The rest of a lot of African countries are developing, and they haven't really made the connections and established different systems of communication in the digital age. And so they're still kind of working off of what they have materialistically within the land. And that's all they have right now.
Technological advances are essential in our connectivity with the world around us, but they have also been a key component in the disconnectivity of nations that are not as digitally fortunate. Developing countries lack the financial and technological resources in order to make significant advancements in worldwide communication. Because of their lack of connection with the outside world, they are forced to make connections within their local societies, leading to a strong community effort in areas such as agriculture.
Taking a closer look, we can see how the lack of digital connectivity impacts the rate of development of third world countries. Without adequate resources, it is difficult to be recognized by the rest of the world in areas such as trade and politics.
The problem is the people who do not exist are the people who are least affluent in terms of education, in terms of socioeconomic status, in terms of countries' GDPs, in terms of democracy as well. And that's the problem. The problem is people who do not have access are probably people who are most in need of access.
This lack of connection blocks countries from the benefits of globalization, leaving them excluded and oftentimes misrepresented. When countries fall behind financially, they are disconnected from the outside world, where they are most likely to find help. In other words, without money, there is no technology. Without technology, connection with the world is severed. This leads to deficiencies in the education systems, which render citizens unable to develop effective solutions to their problems.
The implications are vast, really. I mean, this is, you're talking about the knowledge gap. You're talking about people who have and have not. You're talking about having access to voice your opinion and your voice to the world, or don't. And in particular societies, that makes a lot of difference, particularly if you don't have many other outlets for your opinions to be voiced.
When technology is introduced to these financially limited countries, it gives them an opportunity to celebrate and come together as a community. This provides a glimpse into the American way of seeing, allowing them to utilize technology in order to advance social issues and learn more about the world through the images projected.
Here is some footage captured by UNICEF during the 2010 World Cup in the village of Namushaka, Zambia. Watch closely as technology impacts the lives of the people, bringing them closer to each other, as well as the outside world.
Children gather as the sun sets. They're giddy with excitement and the thrill of seeing whether Ghana, the only African team to qualify to round 2, can beat the United States. As Ghana scores victory, there is no doubt where their loyalties lie. Pan-African solidarity erupts into jubilation. World Cup in My Village is an initiative organised by UNICEF, the Children's Radio Workshop and local partners. The aim is to use the power of football to beam this global event to the remotest and poorest communities, but also tap into the talent of young people to create awareness around social issues.
It's a social mobilization tool, so like you're able to bring people together, and they're able to, when you have a group of people together, it's easier to get people to start talking about social issues.
Global connectivity generated by a digital technology shapes the way nations of the world see one another.
Digital media has increased our understanding of the world around us, though sometimes this leads to generalizations and stereotypes due to false representation. This increase in technology has also created a digital divide which further separates connected and disconnected countries. While closing this technology gap seems to be the answer, Dr. Abdullah reminds us that we have a long way to go before this can be accomplished.
Closing the digital divide is a very optimistic way of putting it. I mean, we talk of bridging the gap, or minimizing the digital divide, but really some areas of the world, the Arab world, for example, where I come from, is way far from catching up with some of the more advanced countries.
The pros and cons of global digitization are debatable, but one thing is clear: digital media has forever changed our global network.